Yo, what's up, you guys? Joe Dobby here, back at it again with another deck profile. I've got something super cool for y'all today. The testing has been going really sweet. It's really aggressive, and it's a very sticky board state as well when things get deleted. It's got its weaknesses, but at the same time, I think into this meta, it's going to be a really good sleeper deck that you can take to a store champ or even a regionals if you know what you're doing. So shout out to Mr.Wares for helping me theory craft and build DarkKnightmon for BT9. So I'm just gonna get it started. So first things first, we're gonna go into the eggs, guys. I'm running 4 copies of this Pagumon right here. Pagumon, super cool card, great for searching your pieces and looking for them, because on deletion, reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand if it's a black Digimon card. Otherwise, place everything to the bottom. So very good egg there. Love it. Next, for the rookies, we are actually running the 4 copies of the reboot toy Agumon. In the event that your DarkKnightmon survives, you actually have the ability to reboot, which protects the stack and forces your opponent to remove it some other way. You don't want to give like free swing over your Digimon type deal, even if it's got a great when deleted effect. You still want to be able to force that play. So the reboot really does help in the deck, and I love that. Next, we're really aggressive with security threats to a certain degree, so I'm running 4 copies of Chikrimon. Really powerful card from security. At the end of battle, trigger D-Digivolve 1 on one of your opponent's Digimon. It's a really powerful card in the meta because sometimes when your opponents get into their stack from the board and not from raising, because say they have a memory tamer out, if they hit that Chikrimon, they're going to D-Digivolve, and they're likely to be at 0 memory, so they can't jump back up into another Digimon, even if that Digimon does unsuspend. So pretty threatening. Love it. 1k DP, and it'll trigger Pagumon quite easily. So there you go. Next, we're running 3 copies of this Beat Stick Gotsumon 6k DP rookie, guys. The highest DP that we've seen in any rookie, and we haven't seen it played as of yet because it's 4 costs to play, so it's basically like a champion level play cost, but its evolution cost is 1, and we've seen rookies Digivolve for 1. Now, the beauty about this Gotsumon is it stays on the board until it is removed or it dies to security. 6k is a lot of DP in the meta. A lot of level 4s are only 5k because they've got good inheritable skills. So you'll be surviving, and you could potentially just have this Gotsu for the rest of the game, which is awesome. Really good early aggression. Next, for the rookies and last of the rookies, just 2 copies of Monitamon. So this guy actually reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon with Knightmon in its name or Deadly Axemon in its name to your hand, place the rest of the bottom in any order. So the beauty about this 2 copies only, testing between Gotsumon at 2, Monita at 3, but I like it at 2 right now because I don't really hard play my rookies. I'd rather hard play my level 4s or Pride Memory Boost into my level 4s. And use my rookies as much as possible just in raising, so or security because of Chicory. So the Monita has been comfortable at 2, but we'll see with further testing. Going into the level 4s here, we're running 4 copies of Skull Knightmon. When attacking, you can trash all the Digivolution sources of your Deadly Axemon and place that Deadly Axemon underneath this Digimon in order to Digivolve into Skull Knightmon. Now, Skull Knightmon, you don't actually pay the cost to Evo, and it'll trigger all the inheritables because the inheritables are your turn effects, not when attacking effects or anything like that. So that Knightmon that you just Digivolved into, or DarkKnightmon, will actually have Sec +1 and +2k depending on the type of Deadly Axemon that you put underneath. I say this because we've got 2 types, and you'll find out soon enough. So very good card. And next, we have the 4 copies of the OG Deadly Axe. This is the one that has the inheritable skill of adding +2k if there's a Knightmon or Bagramon in its name, inheritable. And on play, you can play the top 5 cards of your deck, or reveal them actually, and then add 2 cards with Knightmon in their name to your hand, place the rest at the bottom. So very good searcher for Skull Knight and your Dark Knights. And this is the other guy, Skull Knightmon Cavalier mode. It is both a Skull Knightmon and a Deadly Axemon everywhere. It's that name in your deck, it's in your trash, it's in your hand, it's on the board, it's both Digimon. So you can actually trigger Deadly Axe Search with Cavalier mode, and you can also trigger Skull Knightmon when attacking effect with Cavalier mode. Very versatile card, and it evos over a 4-for-1, which means that when digivolving, actually you get jamming and blocker. So the evo for 1 is really good because what you can do here is actually digivolve into a Deadly Axe for 1, swing for 7. If it dies, it's got jamming, likelihood of it dying is not there, and then your Knightmon can actually swing here, trashing the source to play the Cavalier underneath because it is a Deadly Axe, and then it'll digivolve in a DarkKnightmon, and it'll get 2 checks at 7k, and then 7k is low, but if it dies, DarkKnightmon actually plays them both suspended because, once again, this is a Deadly Axe, so it's very, very powerful. Last for the level 4s, running 2 copies of Mechanorimon. Blessing in Disguise, I wanted to run 4 Cavalier mode, but I only have 2 copies, so I figured let's throw in Mechanori. Blessing in Disguise, guys, because Elydramon and every Vmon is less than 6k. The only thing that could really swing over this thing in Armor Rush, for example, is 8k Flamedramon, and everything else that is more important, like Magnamon, etc. What I do like about Mechanorimon is it prevents the early aggression that you see from meta decks that like to play Searcher Digimon that look for their pieces and build in raising. This will prevent the Agus and the Vs and all these Digimon from swinging in early because your opponent has no use for them once they've used it to search. So very good card. Comes out of Pride Memory Boost as well. All my level 4s are 4 cost for Pride Memory. Going into the level 5 here, we've got 4 copies of the star himself, DarkKnightmon. On play, you can add Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon from your trash or hand underneath this Digimon's Digivolution sources. So super powerful effect on play, but we don't really use the on play effect. You really set up that Skull Knightmon swing to digivolve into this guy. But all turns, when this Digimon would be is deleted, you can play a Skull Knight and Deadly Axe from its Digivolution sources suspended. Which is really cool because we're gonna get to combo into the next level 5, which is Chimeramon. Once again, shout out Mr.Wares for the Chimeramon idea. So DarkKnightmon dies, potentially on the 2nd check where we want him to die, 2nd check, right? Then Skull Knightmon, Deadly Axemon gets played, you Jogress into Chimera, swing for your 3rd check. So very good card there, and you're deleting things like little rookies, memory blockers, even lowering the DP of certain Digimon, so you can use DarkKnightmon first into security, get those 2 checks, and then lower the DP of things by maybe 2k because there's only 2 colors. But I mean, reducing things by 2k allows Chimera to swing at 8, which is pretty darn good. And the beauty about this is because Chimera Jogresses and keeps turn, you are more than likely to be able to digivolve into the 4 copies of Metal Garurumon that we have here. And then, because Chimera adds those 2 sources, it'll be a 3-source Digimon that Metal Garurumon will digivolve into. It has Reboot, it digivolves for 3, and when digivolving, you can digiburst 2 copies, which will be the Deadly Axe and the Skull Knight, so you can set up your hard-played Dark Knight later. And then when digivolving, you digiburst 2. Again, I said that, whoops. And then you can actually delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less. Or if you don't delete anything by the effect, trash the top card of their security. So you're swinging for 2 with Dark Knight dies, you swing again with Chimera for a 3rd, and then you end your turn with Metal Gar, and if there's no removal, there's no target to remove, you delete the 4th check. And this can all happen in one sequence. Worst case scenario, you're potentially deleting 3 checks. Even worst case scenario, you don't have Chimera in hand and you can't get into the Melga, but that's totally fine. You just DarkKnightmon up again and do the whole process again, which is awesome. And here's a spicy tech that was shown to me once again by people in the super awesome discords that I have been reaching out to just to have fun and play test. Metal Garurumon X Antibody. So Metal Garurumon X Antibody digivolves over any Metal Garurumon for 2 costs, right? So when digivolving, this Digimon unsuspends, and then on your turn, when this Digimon would unsuspend, bounce Digimon with the lowest play cost. So you go into Melga, potentially unsuspended because, you know, you got your swing in, 11k, that's fine. You also potentially are gonna be suspended off the swing. So you go into X Ante, and then after deleting a Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less, potentially, hopefully that's their only low cost Digimon, and they have like a high level Digimon, that gets bounced off the unsuspension. So that's very powerful. Next, we're running 2 copies of DarkKnightmon. DarkKnightmon is kind of like the boogeyman card of this set. You reduce its play cost by 3 for every tamer or Digimon your opponent has on the board. In addition to that, it's on play and when digivolving effect, if you choose to digivolve, is that it triggers de-digivolve 1 on all your opponent's Digimon, and then it deletes all your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. The best part of this is actually at the end of your opponent's turn. At the end of your opponent's turn, once per turn, you delete all of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest play cost, which is really crazy because most decks in the meta right now just have 1 stack. They're forced to hard play a rookie to get to protect the stack, and then you slam the Death X, you de-digivolve it anyway, you pop the rookie, etc., and then they have to slowly rebuild. Especially if they've established their board with like tamers, for example, Alphamon, all that stuff. You get that de-digivolve and then potentially delete it. Next, we're running 2 copies of Izzy Izumi. Really good card because it sets up my Pride Memory Boost, my Deadly Axemon. It sets everything up for me if I really need to. Really cheeky plays between Izzy and Pride Memory Boost because you get to see what you could be Pride Memory boosting into, organizing things to maximize your hand, and it's a memory tamer, so very good. Going into the option that I've been talking about so much, Pride Memory Boost, you have to run him at 4. The way I see it is all your level 4s and rookies are 4 cost or less, which means for playing this, not only will you set up the delay of gaining 2 memory, but you would have also played a level 4 or level 3 at the very least. The real top 3 cards of your deck, play a level 4, play a Digimon with a play cost of 4 from among them without paying its cost, and then you trash the remaining cards, which also still helps set up DarkKnightmon. Really good. And then for removal, we run 2 copies of Ultimate Flare. Ultimate Flare is really good into the meta with OTK decks and all that good stuff. Only run it at 2 because I feel like I only need it at 2. But yeah, very powerful card still. You're passing all the memory, but who cares? They're gonna build, they're gonna draw, they're gonna deck out. As I've actually seen, like one of my opponents tonight has actually decked out, so that was really cool. And then 2 copies of Iron Fist Onslaught. This is good against, obviously, it just removes big things. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. And in addition to that, once your opponent's D-Reaper deck has been set up, a D-Reaper has been set, for example, because Mother isn't a target, if I'm not mistaken, you can delete all the other things with a high play cost, for example, like the actual Reaper or all the Gatekeepers. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that's how that would work though. And then, yeah. So, that's the deck, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Went over a few combos, did everything kind of speed running, but it is 12:30 and I want to go to bed, so I'm gonna upload this just because I was so excited from testing. Like this thing just went off, and I was really happy about it, and I was piloting it really well. So yeah, here we go. Take care.